Hi. Good morning. My name is Sopan Khani. I'm a director of Plug and Play IoT and Mobility program, and super excited to have you guys here today. Welcome to Plug and Play Winter Summit Day 2. 2 points before we start. You see 2 links here on this page. Link 1, you can see the event brochure. So if you find more information about startups, if you want to help us with voting, please go to that link. And link number 2 is for the called Brilla app. It's for networking. So the room across the cafeteria, game room, you can set up a meeting with the startups or corporates that you want to talk to them, and use this app to network with people. So very quick kind of overview of Plug and Play. For some of you who were here yesterday, we had our actually fall summit a couple months before. We covered 5 of our topics. The topics that we covered in Fall Summit was brand and retail, food and beverage, new material and packaging, energy and supply chain. Yesterday, we covered InsurTech, and we covered health. Today, we're covering mobility in the morning, IoT in the afternoon, and also travel and hospitality. So for those of you who don't know Plug and Play, we do different things, from investment to mentorship to events like this, big events like this, and corporate innovation. So we would like to connect startups to corporation for so many different reasons, from investment to POC to licensing. And this is an environment to make connection between startups and corporations to work together, to collaborate, to build the future of different industries, from automotive to InsurTech to banking and so on, different topics that we cover. I really love this slide since it shows the model works. We have Fortune 500 companies working with us. And obviously, there are overlaps between these innovation platforms. What we see in connected health might be applicable for our mobility program. And the fact that we have expert in the health space, the expert in InsurTech space to filter down the startups with us, help us to introduce you guys to top-notch startups at the end of the day. What we do here in Silicon Valley, we also do around the world. We have 25 offices worldwide, and specifically IoT and mobility program. We have Germany, Stuttgart, and Berlin. We have China, Beijing, and Shanghai. And we recently launched our Japan office, Tokyo, that we're adding mobility topic to the Japan in 2018. But at the end of the day, the idea is to plug in startups in this ecosystem globally to help them grow internationally. We kind of recently merged the 2 topics of IoT and mobility together. Obviously, mobility is anything from going from point A to point B. Very industry standard, from they call CASE or ACE, from connected car to autonomous driving to shared economy and electrification. Topic 2 would be around industrial IoT, since all the OEMs and Tier 1 suppliers also interested in smart manufacturing, smart factory, Industry 4.0 in general. And the last part would be around home and building. So the future of automotive, there are a lot of talks that car can be extended part of the living room. So we did find it relevant to have these topics also cover between mobility, Industry 4.0, and also home and building. A little bit more focus on mobility. So the startups that you're going to meet with them today, they went through this filtration process with us and with help of our corporate partners to get to this point. In the past 6 months, we had, on stage 1, we had sourcing season. We found more than 500 startups through different channels of university partners, international partners, call for application, and our venture team who's actively looking for startups to match our corporate partners' tech interest. From there, we narrowed down to top 100 based on their team, technology, and traction, and we shared that list with our corporate partners on the left. Companies like ZF, Farsia, Michelin, and so on. And with their judgment, we narrowed down to 35. We had our selection day back in August, and these companies, these startups presented, and with the help of corporate partners, we selected 25 of them. So the companies that you're going to meet with them today, they're going to present. They went through multiple filtration process. Who do we have in the platform? We have OEMs like Daimler, Renault Nissan, and we have Tier 1 suppliers, companies like Valeo, Bosch, Farsia. And what we want to grow this network, we want to grow this platform. So the bigger corporations that we have, that does attract better startups, and better startups attract better corporations too. So at the end of the day, the idea is to have bigger platform to help these innovative ideas go to the market in the future. From the filtration process that you see, a lot of people think that we only work with early stage startups. That's not the case. You can see the stage breakdown. Half of them, I would say, they are seed stage, raised less than $2 million. Around 26% of them raised between $2 to $7 million. And the rest of them, we have companies who raise $55 million. They are here not for small check from plug and play or office space. They are here to connect with you guys, with big corporations, to grow faster. And in terms of plug and play investment, out of 25 companies that we have in the batch, we might invest in 5 or 6 of them based on the feedback we receive from you guys, from corporate partners. And you can see the technology breakdown. These companies are not only from Silicon Valley or US, they're coming from around the world. As you can see, 56% of them, they are from US, Canada, or Argentina, 22% from Europe, from Germany, from France, from UK, and another 22% from Asia. So this is the beauty of platform that we develop here in Plug and Play to promote these startups and attract them from around the world and connect them to you guys. Some success stories from last batch. We had actually 3 exits from the 25 companies we had previously, beginning of 2017. We had Aro, autonomous shuttle for campuses that got acquired by RideSail, another bigger startup basically. We had Inevit, where actually their CTO, Martin Eberhard, former CEO of Tesla, he formed that company 6 months before joining our program, and 2 months ago, they sold it to like SF Motors for $33 million. So as you can see, the quality of the startup is fairly high. And last one, eMotorworks, acquired by Enel. So that's one of the investment from one of our corporate partners, Hella, actually. This batch, from the introduction that we had between corporates and startups, we had more than 300 introduction. And that's like a benefit of plug and play for startups and for corporations. Each of the 25 startups that we had in the batch, on average, they get 10 introduction to big corporations like Daimler, like Farsia, like ZF. So this helps them a lot to grow faster. With that, I actually want to ask 3 of our corporate partners who were more active in the platform in the past 3 months to join us on the stage, and also our CEO, Said Amidi, to say a few words. Thank you so much. Farsia, ZF, maybe you guys can come. Said?
Oops, I'm glad to have you here. You know, I think this Sopan did a great job in presenting Plug and Play as a whole, as well as the mobility division. So I don't have a lot to add, but I just wanted to little bit point out what we have done with the satellite offices. Like in Stuttgart, we've been operating for about 18 months. And in the first batch in Stuttgart, I think we had 10 or 11 startups. In the second batch, we had 28. And in the third batch, we had 32. And the batch that is running right now, I know, for example, Mercedes is doing more than 15 pilots. Porsche is doing somewhere between 10 or 15. And we kind of feel when we are closer to the factory, closer to the head office, there is a lot easier for the engineering teams to work with startup. And going back to the people who are at the stage with us, we feel there is a learning curve, even for Mercedes, to get to know how to work with a startup, combining their internal R&D with external ideas or technology to implement new technology in less than 100 days inside the car. And then later on, they can see if it worked really well to really put it into production. So with that, we really wanted to congratulate our partners that have joined us recently. I was with Hella in China. The incredible growth in the automotive industry in China. I think they just produced 28 million cars, becoming the larger than US and Europe as the biggest car producer in the world. And we really would love you guys to join us not only here, but in China, in Tokyo, and in Germany, and maybe someday in Detroit. So with that, I love that if you sort of share with us a little bit your experience in the last 3 to 6 months.
Okay, thank you. So, well, thank you for the honor. Well, thank you for the great job that you're doing here. We've been involved with Plug and Play for a little bit more than 6 months. In fact, we've been involved with Plug and Play for now almost 5 years, I think, Stephen, right? And we've decided this year to increase our contribution by becoming an anchor. We saw you really improving all these years, and now the quality of the startup that we are meeting is really increased a lot also. So, it's like everything in life, we decided to put a bit more in, so we expect, of course, more return from that, and we look forward to the 2018 selection process, which we believe is going to be really, really exciting and really, really good. So we're looking for that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. 5 years is a good, long history together.
Thank you so much. And we've seen a lot recently with Guillaume and Rob and his team. They added a lot of activity here in Silicon Valley. You're going to hear about them more in 2019. We are doing a lot with them, so super excited to have them on board. Hella, unfortunately, they couldn't make it for the morning session. They're coming after the break, so they come on the stage after we get a 15-minute break. But also wanted to introduce ZF. They've been working with us really closely, and whenever they meet with the startups, startups, they're always super excited to have technical knowledge. And we also hosted their CEO. We had a very quick video from that. We also shared that with you guys. But with that, Vicky?
Yes, do you want me to say something?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, so I have to say I really enjoy working with Plug and Play. It's now, I think, 1 year and 3 months since we started our partnership. I also want to thank you, Said, for hosting us in the beginning when we opened up our innovation hub here in Silicon Valley. It's not as easy as we thought it might be, but it's tremendous the help that we get, and also Soban, Johannes, and all the others, Tarek, for their help. The fast help, and I really, really enjoy being here, and I will recommend to everyone in the industry to work with you. So it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
I want to add something. For some of the corporates in the room, realistically, our collaboration with Mercedes or with ZF or with everybody reaches much stronger after they have their CEO, their executive team here. Because kind of like it's not easy for this, big corporations to collaborate with startups. But after we call it almost like an executive retreat. They have their board meeting here sometimes, and they spend 3 days, 4 days visiting even Tesla, visiting Google. Then suddenly they say, my God, we need to be more interactive with technology and startups. So I recommend all of you to, if you like, we can co-host an executive tour for you.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Vicky, thank you, Guillaume. Maybe with that very quick video from CEO of ZF that he visited us about like 2-3 months ago.
We want to reduce mobility to zero accidents and zero emission. And every technology, whether it's come from startups, whether it's come from big companies, is welcome to join our eco network and support our Vision Zero. The future of mobility will change dramatically in the next 10 to 15 years. There will be, especially in urban areas, a lot more robot cars of shared mobility. So it will be a coexistence of the mobility as we know it today and new mobility technologies and needs which we will see in the future. It's for us of high value to work with Plug and Play because they have the know-how. They also introduce the processes and methodologies to work together with startups and provide a good basis to get into touch with startups and to include them into our eco network. My advice to other corporations in terms of collaboration with startups, please leave them the freedom to operate, to live their ideas, to keep their creativity, and support them only there where they need strength and guidance from bigger partners.
With that, we also have one last word. We have a new announcement. We have a new corporate partners joining us in our platform, big Chinese OEM. And actually, there are a lot of talks about connected car, autonomous driving. And people say like the technology is almost there, but the biggest challenge after that would be regulation. And with Chinese OEM owned by government, I think they have better opportunity to like pass that regulation challenges. And we're super happy to have SAIC also join us in our platform. We're going to have a very quick ceremony or signing ceremony here. Mr. Maxwell, if you guys can join us on the stage. Thank you.
This signing ceremony I learned from China.
Maybe also a few words from Michael as well, and we're going to take a picture and we're done with this.
Good morning. My name is Michael Cohen. I'm with SAIC Capital, and we represent SAIC, Shanghai Automotive Industrial Corporation. It's actually the 45th largest company in the world. We're the largest automotive OEM in China. We have 2 joint venture partners, GM and Volkswagen, and then we make a number of cars underneath our own brand. In the United States, we have 3 entities, SAIC Capital, which is a $200 million venture capital fund. So we make investments in autonomous driving, connected vehicles, HMI, artificial intelligence, software, security, and disruptive business models. We also have an innovation center in San Jose, about 30 engineers with the main focus on autonomous driving and electrification. And we also have an entity in Michigan, which works on trading. Again, very excited to be a part of Plug and Play and look forward to working with you.
Thank you so much. It's a great honor. We have one more announcement to make before the end of the year with the large Japanese car, but I can't tell you now who it is. But it's a great honor to start working with you guys, both here as well as in China. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thanks. Thanks, everybody. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Said. Thank you, guys. Sorry, it took a little bit longer than usual, but we're going to the next phase of the program. Before I introduce you guys to the MC of the day, Alice from our mobility team, I just wanted to say last thing. I came to the United States 7 years ago, and back then I was not even speaking English. So for me being here on this stage and talking to you guys, I'm really humble and excited to be here. And I think this is beauty of Silicon Valley, to embrace diversity. And I think diversity is actually the fact that we have a lot of innovation here. So super excited to be here. And please meet with these startups, give them some opportunities, give them opportunity to do pilot projects with you guys. Maybe that pilot would work. Again, thank you so much. And Alice, if you can come on stage and introduce us to our keynote speaker, Jim Adler from Toyota.
Good morning, everybody. So yes, as I'm looking around this room, I actually see a lot of familiar faces, but also a lot of people that I don't know yet. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Alice. I'm an account manager here with our mobility and IoT team, and I am really happy to get to be your MC today. So, when we were writing about what we were going to talk about today on the show, we wanted all the startups to introduce themselves with a fun fact. For me, I had to also come up with a fun fact. So the first thing that I guess I would say is when I'm not spending the entirety of my life here at Plug and Play these days, I do like to write, and I'm also part of a local band. But enough about me. Let's now welcome Jim Adler of Toyota Ventures to the stage. He is actually He is Toyota's venture arm and also VP.
I don't need the mic. I have. Thank you, Alice. Thank you, Saban. Thank you, Saeed. Appreciate the opportunity to provide some thoughts today. For those that don't know, Toyota Research Institute is working on self-driving cars and robots, materials, what's next for Toyota. It was established in 2016, January. We have offices here in the Valley, in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and Cambridge, Massachusetts. Toyota AI Ventures was launched this summer of this year, and we're also headquartered here in the Valley. A little bit about me. My career has spanned many acts, but really three fundamental roles. The first role was I'm an electrical engineer by training, and my first job at a school was launching rockets for what's now Lockheed Martin. I worked on Titan Centaur and Atlas Centaur launch vehicles, a little bit of Space Station Freedom, early design. And then my career took a turn toward another role, which was a bunch of entrepreneurial pursuits, which you can read the bio, I won't bore you with. But the last role I played was more of a policy role. I was the Chief Privacy Officer at Intellius, which is an online data broker. I'm now, and for the last 4 years, have advised the Department of Homeland Security on their Data Privacy and Integrity Advisory Committee, which helps the department handle data in a fair and equitable way. So I affectionately refer to these three roles as my geek role, my suit role, and my wonk role. And I think if you get the three legs of this stool right, you can really innovate responsibly. And if they're out of balance, you end up being a traditional capitalist who doesn't technologically innovate enough, or you might be a social entrepreneur whose enterprises may not be sustainable, or you may just be a high-tech mercenary that's too callous to add anything substantial to the society. One of the good examples that I like to show to illustrate who got this right was a gentleman by the name of Noria Oga, who was the president of Sony in the 70s. And he oversaw the development of the compact disc, the audio disc. Anyone remember what compact discs even are? And he mandated that the disc hold 74 minutes of music. Why 74 minutes of music? Well, it turns out Mr. Oga studied classical music undergrad, and Beethoven's Ninth Symphony is 74 minutes. And he didn't want to get up and change the disc. So I really love that story because it shows a business application, a technology requirement, and a bit of our culture that was infused into that product. And so this is going to be the through line of the talk. Geeks, we make it work. Suits, they make the money. In order to sustain the enterprise and be able to continuously improve it, and wonks safeguard our cultural values. And by wonks, I don't necessarily just mean attorneys and legislators and regulators. I also mean philosophers and historians and journalists and poets that really are the guardians for what we value in our society. And I think if you get it right, you can really substantially impact how we live our lives. So let's talk about geeks. One of my favorite geeks is Marc Andreessen. About 6 years ago, he wrote a famous piece in the Wall Street Journal about software is eating the world. If you look at your phone, many of those devices used to be separate. The only time I see an alarm clock now is in a hotel room. The camera's on the phone. I read the newspaper on the phone. My notes are on the phone. Everything's on the phone. So all these software algorithms are now been collapsed into this device through software. But that's not the end of the story. There's a bigger fish in the ocean now, artificial intelligence. And it's not driven by algorithms as much as by data. And in the autonomous mobility world, there's a lot of data. I know this is a bit of an eye chart. I bolded the areas that I want to draw your attention to. If you consider the autonomous vehicles that are on the road today, mostly in testing, and you consider the perception stack of cameras, LiDAR, and radar, they kick off roughly around 10 gigabytes a mile. If you look at just in the US, the fleet of cars that come out every year, about 17.5 million, that kicks off about a trillion, on the order of 1 trillion gigabytes a year. And just to put that in context, if you consider all the videos and images that Facebook has, this fleet of cars would kick out 11 Facebooks every single day. Mind-blowing amount of data. What are we doing with all that data? We're training AI models, is what we're doing with that data. And if you think about an AI stack, it comes in 3 layers. The first one is the perception stack, the perception layer, and that's about parsing the environment. What's road? What's other cars? What's pedestrians? What are bicyclists? Understanding that is built with a lot of data that describes the environment. The next layer is the prediction layer. What are those objects that you just recognized? Where are they going to go? Are those 2 kids on a corner with a skateboard going to cross against the light? Maybe. Possibly, probably. Mom with a stroller? Probably not. We have to teach AIs how to parse to deep levels of understanding in order to live in our environment. And finally, planning. Once you understand what's in the scene, you understand where the objects are going to go, what should the car do? So this is what this stack is trained with a tremendous amount of data. Cars don't just produce any data anymore for testing, as part of testing. They are produced with gigabytes and terabytes and petabytes of data. Once they're trained, those sensors collect data, get pushed into this AI stack, and then the output is what angle to move the steering wheel, how much to push the accelerator, and how much to pump the brakes. An autonomous car doesn't have to do that much. It has to stay on the road, it has to not hit anything, and it has to not get hit. It's pretty simple. Actually, those 3 things are very, very hard. So let's look at a few examples. Here's an officer stopping cars at a green light. If you can see on the left there, there's a police officer doing that, stopping cars at a green light. Now, we would train a car to go through a green light. Here, an officer is stopping. Now, we could train the car to look for an officer, but how many mischievous high schoolers are going to start stopping cars by doing that? Autonomous car tipping will be a new pastime. Same thing. An officer waving cars through a red light. These things do happen. These conditions are real. Got to deal with them. Here's an unprotected left turn. That's supposed to be, that video I think is supposed to go. I don't know why it's not. Great. So this is one of our autonomous cars driven in manual mode here, one of our Lexus cars. You can see an unprotected left turn means there's no stop sign or stoplight, and it's very stressful to get through that, to make that left turn. My personal rule of thumb is always jut in front of a car that's nicer than yours. That's very difficult to do when you're driving a gorgeous Lexus, but the school bus finally lets them through. Cars are social. I love this one. Here the car is in the middle of a pedestrian crosswalk, and the pedestrians decide to take matters in their own hands and walk over the hood of the car. What I love about this is he then starts to back up, but I think it's a little late for that. But what's interesting about this is, these behaviors are localized. That what is appropriate maybe in San Francisco may not be appropriate in Amsterdam or Riyadh or Delhi or Tokyo. And so these behaviors must be localized as well. These are not easy problems. If you look at just the sensors, got to deal with bad weather. That's why TRI has offices in Michigan and Massachusetts. LiDAR doesn't do so well in falling snow. Neither does it do well when steam is coming up through manhole covers. What's in that glare? I see the green light. My colleagues say that there is a police officer directing traffic. Well, I personally need radar or something else because I do not see that police officer. So there are many conditions that are going to be difficult for a perception stack to understand what's actually in the environment. So let's switch gears a little bit and talk about business. This is a tale of three companies: Kodak, Apple, and Facebook. The market cap over the last 20 years. Kodak peaked at a market cap about $30 billion. This is their logo and tagline there: share moments, share life. They introduced that in the mid-90s. During that period, they've sunk from $30 billion to, at the end of 2016, less than $1 billion. I think now they're less than $200 million. They invented digital photography. Apple and Facebook in that period of time racked up more than $1 trillion of market cap on the backs of digital photography, which Kodak invented. When Apple introduced the iPhone, the camera had 2 megapixels. It now has 12 megapixels. It is, for the money, the best digital camera out there, and certainly used by most people on the planet. And Facebook is a distribution channel for those photos. Why didn't Kodak figure this out? Why didn't they exploit the digital photography technology that they invented? What happened there? Clay Christensen is a Harvard Business School professor that in the late 90s introduced an idea in his book Innovator's Dilemma called S-curves, which over time a company introduces a product that might perform poorly and achieve relatively low market penetration, and then something happens, they hit their stride, and then their market share increases markedly. Maybe it's great tech, maybe it's high quality of the product, maybe it's a new disruptive business model, and their market share grows until some limits get hit and the growth in their market share taps out, and they have to come up with the next innovation. Toyota was a great example of this with the Toyota Corona, introduced in 1957, great run through the 70s and 80s until the early 2000s when it was discontinued. I actually had a Toyota Corona. It was my first car, and I was a busboy in Miami at the time, and I paid for it with my own money. It was inexpensive, it was durable, it was reliable, I could work on it myself, and it was incredibly empowering. And what the innovation that Toyota brought to the marketplace at the time was serving a market that was previously unserved, the Miami busboy market, and a lot of folks like me all over the country. And so this was their innovation. And so what you see is, you see an incumbent enjoy increased market share through some sort of innovation, and then their limits get hit, and then you see a new insurgent enter the market that typically underperforms. And the incumbent traditionally disregards them in the marketplace. But every time they look back in their rearview mirror, the insurgent grows. And then eventually, of course, the insurgent's limits get hit. But what the incumbent typically does is something pretty interesting. And Christensen described that activity as developing sustaining incremental innovations. And the hope is that by the incumbent doing these things, they will intersect that green insurgent curve, hop to the new market share increase that the insurgent is enjoying, and then they will overtake the insurgent. This rarely, if ever, works. In fact, Kodak tried this in 2001 with the Advantix camera. They had announced this camera that it had film, but it allowed you to preview your pictures digitally so you got the right shot every time. Needless to say, 3 years later, Kodak discontinued the Advantix because it was overtaken by digital photography. So was it that Kodak wasn't just, were they not smart enough? Christensen would say, no, they're plenty smart. They were established in 1888. They had a 100-year run. What did they miss? They didn't miss anything. They were focused on their business. Their business was all about film and film processing. It took them through a great run for 100 years. They couldn't envision a camera without film. They were focused on making money, and their economics were all about film processing. So they could not think disruptively. You can argue the same thing is happening here in automotive. You have the incumbents, which is the automakers, tier ones, tier twos, everyone that's been in the auto industry for many, many, many years, Toyota included. And then you have the insurgents, the Waymos, Teslas, Intels, NVIDIAs, new entrants into the market. And there's tremendous amount of investment. And what's fueling that investment, Deutsche Bank did this analysis that said for mobility as a service, there's about 65 cents per mile available as new market opportunity, new addressable market. It's about 2.5 trillion miles driven in the United States every year. Do the math. 2.5 trillion miles, 65 cents a mile. It's over $1 trillion opportunity. That's what's fueling this industry. So of course, deal value's up 10x, almost 300 new companies. So why can't the incumbents just do their sustaining innovations and jump onto the insurgent curve? Why can't we Toyota just do what we've always done? Well, there's something that, although you look right at that curve and say, seems like straightforward, just have to continue to innovate and you just hop on that green curve. What is often missed is that these curves are not on the same plane. So no matter what you do, you cannot just innovate like you've always innovated. There's something that we call known unknowns that puts you in a different dimensional space in order to catch the insurgent. That could be a new business model, one that's disruptive, the performance of the new product. It could be company culture. Could be the economics of the industry. I wasted a lot of time as a kid reading comic books, so I tend to think in terms of superheroes. So the auto industry, I view is in transformation, and I view it through superheroes. This is the Thing from Marvel Comics. I view the auto industry as the strong and stable the Thing. This is the Thing from Marvel Comics, strong and stable, really good superhero, not that fast, not that agile. The insurgents are quite fast and quite agile. If the auto industry is to catch the insurgent, it has to be fast and agile and strong and stable. That's the challenge. Other industries have faced this challenge. This is a quote from Ted Sarandos, Chief Content Officer at Netflix. In 2013, he was asked, why is Netflix producing their own content? And if you remember, Netflix used to send you DVDs in the mail with your movies. They realized that streaming was coming and content producers were going to be able to deliver their content on their own. So they were going to be disrupted. So Ted famously said, we must become HBO, a content producer, before those content producers can become Netflix. And I think similarly, the auto industry must become high-tech before high-tech becomes automotive. And so what does that mean? Well, if you look at many of the insurgents, they're what I call data-native companies. As I talked about earlier, the cars are being produced with data. Autonomy is being produced with data. So data-native companies have an advantage. So a data native company would be, a Facebook is a data native company. They deal with data all the time, whether they be videos, pictures, posts, whatever. Google is a data native company dealing with trillions and trillions of websites and creating search indexes out of them. So this is the challenge of the auto industry. And I don't think we think that way. When I first joined Toyota Research Institute, I was hired to run the data cloud team, and I was so excited. Because Toyota, the market leader, there must be a ton of data. Tons of data. Market leader, must be a lot of data. And when I asked, OK, where's all the data, there was kind of a quizzical, blank stare kind of look. And it took us about 3 months to kind of search around. We finally found a mother load of data under the ground in Nagoya in a bunker, Japan. And it's not that anybody was hiding anything. It's just that automakers don't consider data as an asset. And it's just a turn of perspective that says the data that's been collected over the years have been used for field operational testing. That data is a huge asset in accelerating the development of autonomous vehicles. That's the challenge. Turn of perspective. That's the known unknown. So what to do? What to do? Back to Christensen. So Christensen says every time the leader caught the insurgent, they set up a completely separate business unit with independent processes and new unit economics in order to catch the insurgent. And Akio Toyoda, the president of Toyota, said this summer, the automotive industry is facing huge change. We have to attack new business models, new technologies, and defend and continue to make the most safe, reliable, durable cars. So there's this idea of separation. He gets that. Shigeki Tomoyama, senior managing officer currently at Toyota Motor Corp, just announced that he was promoted to executive vice president. Congratulations, Tomoyama-san. Said in this great book from Eric Ries, Toyota is great at producing what we specify with outstanding quality, but we don't know what to produce next. At the Automated Vehicle Symposium, Gil Pratt, the TRI CEO, presented a chart similar to this one. If you look at the opportunity space, think of this as a mountain range. You're looking at it from above, and this is a contour diagram. So these are mountain ranges, and the automotive industry is at the peak of a mountain right now. And Tomoyama's point is, where do we go next? What's the next mountain to climb? The challenge is that there is uncertainty all over. What do you do next? You search out in one direction, you hit a molehill, failure. Try again, failure. Big companies aren't good at this. They're not good at trying things and failing. Eventually, yeah, you may find an opportunity that is rich and you can be successful climbing a new mountain. But you may have to try a number of things first. Back to our superheroes, Toyota AI Ventures and venture capital generally is about finding these fast and agile startups that are really experiments in the marketplace laboratory. Cisco was an early investor in one of my companies, and their approach is we invest in a lot of startups. We know they're experiments. We learn and buy the winners. Venture capital is pretty good at that. And it gives larger companies signal as to what's going on in the marketplace. Lets the startups test the space, test the opportunity space, looking for opportunities. For us, Toyota AI Ventures is a $100 million fund initially. We're a subsidiary of Toyota Research Institute here in the Valley. We're focused on artificial intelligence, cloud and data, those technologies, as applied to autonomous mobility and robotics. We want to get that signal of scarce talent, disruptive tech, and we do want return on our investment. Returns are strategic, and we want to be aligned with our co-investors and our startup companies. We think that we can be an asset, and have been an asset to our portfolio thus far, to help them with product market fit. As an entrepreneur, when I was running companies and founding companies, the worst thing you can do is waste time developing a product that the market doesn't want and wasting precious capital on that endeavor. Corporates are pretty good at helping startups figure out if their product is a fit, at least for them. So it's a way to get out of the office and talk to your potential customers. Corporates are good at that. And of course, we have a huge worldwide network of partners and affiliates to connect startups to. And we want to be founder-friendly. I think corporates have learned that you need to be aligned with your entrepreneurs, and you don't want to load them down with a lot of terms that really hobble their success, because their success is your success. So our portfolio today is, I'll walk through a few of them. SlamCore is a visual localization and mapping company. We're excited about them for low power computing and really variable frame rate and lowering the data load in a car. We've invested in Auto. We're in the Series A in Auto, which is making drivers safer and fleets smarter through AI and data acquisition out of fleets. Connected Signals is a data analytics company that's focused on traffic signals. And then we've done a couple robotics investments, real-time robotics on that stack, if you remember, perception, prediction, and planning. Real-time robotics is accelerating the planning phase by 10,000 times. It's great breakthrough technology for planning. And Intuition Robotics is a cognitive computing social robot for older adults that we're really excited about, and you'll hear more about that in the coming months. So if I haven't lost you already, maybe I'm going to lose you now. I'm going to talk about policy. 35,000 people die in the United States every year in car accidents, car crashes. That's a 777 falling out of the sky 7 times every month. It's a lot. The flip side of that is if you look at the number of miles driven, drivers are quite safe. 1 fatality every 71 million miles. Gil Pratt at CES, or the TRI CEO, asked a sobering question for autonomous vehicles. How safe is safe enough? If autonomous vehicles were as safe as humans, 35,000 deaths from crashes every year, would that be safe enough? No way. Half? You save half the lives, would that be safe enough? Likely not. In fact, we humans are very intolerant of machines hurting people from flaws in their design. So how safe is safe enough? We don't really know yet. And I want to talk a little bit about how to answer that question. I did a post a few years ago that sort of looked at the technology growth curve and capability and the wisdom growth curve. And one runs exponentially, right? Moore's law, data loads run exponentially. Our ability and wisdom to understand it grows linearly. And that gap is the risk gap. And you can apply this to any field in technology. Larry Lessig in 2000, he's a Harvard, Yale, Stanford law professor, gets around. In 2000, in a Harvard magazine, coined this phrase, code is law. And it was so minimalist, nearly poetic, and hit a lot of us kind of between the eyes, especially as engineers, that the code you write is actually creating policy. For the first time, Professor Lessig connected geeks and wonks. It's profound. When I was the chief privacy officer at Intellius and ran the data science team there, we had to conflate or connect, link the records of public records of individual citizens. And if we got a link wrong, we could end up linking a felon with someone who wasn't a felon. John Smith, very common name. You could link them together. And this John Smith could be linked to a John Smith who's a felon. And that innocent John Smith would look like a felon, say, on their background check when they went to get a job. Our false positive linkage rate, like how often we got it wrong, was 1 in 10,000, 1/100th of 1%. Who set that level? It wasn't the engineers, it was the lawyers. Because every time we had a bad linkage, according to the Fair Credit Reporting Act, you had to tell the individual, the company looked bad, because we had to explain that, oh, we made a mistake, and there's what's called an adverse action on that employee, that, oh, they were able to dispute the fact that they weren't the felon John Smith, they were some other John Smith. So it becomes a policy issue, becomes a legal issue when the technology is wrong. The engineers weren't able to make that call. The lawyers had to make the call. The wonks had to make the call. Ed Felton is a computer science professor at Princeton University, and he was the chief technologist at the Federal Trade Commission. He has his third law, which lawyers tend to seek technical solutions, and technologists tend to seek legal solutions. The translation is, geeks blame wonks, and wonks blame geeks. And so what happens is everyone points the finger to the other group. And that just doesn't work. And in artificial intelligence, you're starting to see centers of excellence around algorithm accountability. These are two excerpts from two op-eds, one in the New York Times, one in the Wall Street Journal the last few weeks. And you're starting to see institutes crop up that are dealing with the societal impacts of the technology we're bringing to market. FATML is fairness, accountability, and transparency in machine learning. It's not a weight loss center. But this is really an important, so important phase that we're going through. Because we can't do it serially anymore. We can't have the geeks make it, the suits make money from it, and the wonks clean up all the messes. We need to bend this wisdom curve to what I call the big wisdom curve and chase the technology curve, because the technology will continue to advance. Everyone in this room knows that. But how will we understand it? Well, these groups, these geeks, these suits, these wonks, need to come together in a new paradigm of parallel collaboration, not serial collaboration, in order to reduce the risk. When you look at autonomous vehicles, they have such tremendous potential to make drivers safer in the near term and to make driving available to everyone in the long term. It would just be such a shame if we not figure this out. And we must figure it out now. Doing anything else would not be responsible innovation. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much, Jim. That was honestly really fascinating. I really appreciate the fact that when you mentioned Kodak, it kind of took me down like this trip of memory lane, because I think as a millennial, we all remember a while ago, actually, the coolest thing for us was the little cameras that it could actually, print the photos out immediately after you snap a picture. So yeah, thank you for that. Before we get into the main portion of today's program, we do have a couple of housekeeping items I want to announce. The first is on the back of everybody's badge, there are a couple links. The first link will take you to our online event brochure, and it's where you can find all the profiles for the startups that are presenting today, as well as vote for your favorite mobility startup towards the end of this portion. This is the People's Choice Award that we can, give away at the end, and so please hold off your voting until you've seen everybody present. Second link will take you guys to Brella. That is for you guys to meet with anybody in this room today, face to face. You guys simply go to the corresponding number that you sign up for inside the game room. Last but not least, you guys probably all need connection to the internet, so if you don't know already, we're using P&P events today. No password. We want to make life easy for you. All right, and without further ado, let's welcome to the stage Marvin from Too Simple.
Hello, everyone. Hi, everyone. My name is Marvin from the business development team for Too Simple, and I'm here to talk about trucks. Not the one that transform into robots from Transformer. I'm here to talk about self-driving trucks. So in an e-commerce booming industry, we see increased demand for cheaper good and faster delivery services. But let's look at the driver side. We see 85% of truck driver turnover rate and 100,000 truck driver shortages. And we're looking at 97 fatal accidents involving driver fatigue. And that is not okay. So what is our solution? Level 4 autonomous trucks. We have over 150 engineers working around the clock in the US and China. And we have PhDs in the field of computer vision and machine learning. And we have partners with major OEMs and manufacturers to bring this product together. Let's look at our timeline. In 2017, we're going to have a level 4 operation from Tucson to Phoenix, 120 miles. And by the end of 2018, we'll have 50 trucks. And we have over 3 million miles of autonomous vehicle data. And by the end of 2020, we'll have driverless, and we'll be seeing positive cash flow. So let's look at our technology. How do we do all these? We have a full-stacked autonomous solution. With a perception system, we're able to perceive the truck surrounding, and we're the only company that can achieve reliable results in the 200-meter range, which is crucial for trucking operations. And we're looking at localizations to be able to locate where the truck is. And we're able to do so without a LiDAR on the vehicle. And we save a lot of hardware costs. And we can achieve decimeters accuracy, even in tunnels. And we have our own in-house mapping and planning technologies to plan the route for the truck. And we have control to successfully navigate the truck towards our destinations. So why Too Simple? Why are we different from our competitors? We are producing a level 4 product-oriented driverless truck that will be ready for the market. And I hope to talk to everyone after this pitch. Thank you very much.
All right. Our next presenter actually won Chicago's favorite redhead competition, awarded by Danny Bonaduce. Please welcome to the stage Dan from Exnor AI.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I forgot about that. Hello, and thank you, Plug and Play. Thank you, everyone. My name is Dan Waters from Exnor. And I'd like to talk to you about AI. So there's been some incredible advancements in artificial intelligence in the last few years, but mainly it's been relegated to the cloud. We call that AI 1.0. Exnor.ai is bringing state-of-the-art deep learning to edge devices and what we're calling AI 2.0. So as I mentioned, AI has been relegated to the cloud for the most part, simply because of resource constraints in terms of memory, power, battery. And so there's been a need to connect to the cloud, right, at the edge. And of course, that's inherent with other adverse effects in terms of connectivity, bandwidth back to the cloud, latency effects, as well as security and privacy at the edge, especially in the home or in enterprise. So what we found was there's a huge disconnect between the demand for AI, all of the use cases, and compute power at the edge. So we sought a solution because we are software scientists, machine learning scientists. We sought a solution in the middle for developing mathematic and algorithmic approach that runs on commodity hardware. We've basically binarized models to be able to run on common CPUs to take advantage of native methods. For example, an exclusive OR gate with a NOT. So XNOR, exclusive NOR, that's our company. So I'd like you to imagine a world where devices are both smart and free from the cloud. We have actually 2 in-house paid POCs in automotive around advanced driver assistance systems. And of course, we're able to detect objects very rapidly, providing a 360 view around automobiles. And we're able to do that with super low latency and super small size in terms of memory footprint, power, and batteries, sometimes up to 200% smaller than anything that would run on a GPU or specialized hardware. We also have a contract, actually a defense contract, doing some drone surveillance. And of course, this technology can be used even on person for personal security. So what we do, we binarize. So basically, we're taking these billions and millions of floating point computations, and by binarizing them, we're allowing them to move from 32-bit or 8-bit, whatever you might use, down to 1-bit, and taking advantage of those native methods, for example, the exclusive NOR gate, to be able to run on commodity hardware. Here's a demonstration. This is a video that I took. I placed my iPhone 6S with a dual-core A9 CPU on the dash, on the windshield of my car, driving through downtown San Jose. And basically, you're seeing object detection in real time. This is about 25 frames per second. As I drive down the street, you actually see that we're detecting objects in shadow with reflection. And you'll actually watch this driver drive right through a red light, which was very interesting. I thought that was pretty neat. But I'm out of time right now, and I'd love to meet with you here. So please reach out, and I look forward to it. Thank you.
All right, and next up we have Yuval from Via Vision.
Hello, my name is Yuval, and I'm the CTO of Via Vision. Via Vision is doing a raw data fusion and cognition system. The company is located in Israel, founded in February 2016. We raised our seed money on July 2016, and today we are 18 employees. So what we do, we are building an AI sensor fusion platform for autonomous driving. Basically, we take all the raw data from the sensor, the camera, the LiDAR, and the radar, fuse it together, and building an environmental model, basically understanding everything around the car. Where is the free space? Where is the car? Where is the cars are moving? Where is the pedestrian? If there is an unidentified object that the AI didn't see it, we understand this as well. Our sensor fusion platform is a higher quality and with lower system cost from point of view of sensor, loading on the bus, processing, and energy. Basically, when we speak about autonomous driving, there is the sensor cognition and driving decisions. We are focused on the cognition and on the fusion. So how are we different? Most of the company, what they do, they take the front camera, do cognition on the front camera. Then they take the LiDAR, do cognition on the LiDAR, and then they fuse everything as an object level. They do object level fusion. But what can happen? The camera can say, stop, there is a girl. And the LiDAR say, there's nothing there. What you will do? You will stop or not? So basically what we do it differently. You take the front camera, take the LiDAR, fuse everything together, and then take one-time decision. Take the decision based on the existing information. Additionally, we're also able to control the sensor. Basically, ask the sensor what to give us, to bring us which area in the field of view we want to see, where to measure, and so on. So as a result of that, we are enabling lower cost of the system. Sorry. So this is the system. The first part of the system, the left side, is the raw data fusion and upsample. Basically, we take a low-quality LiDAR, which you can see on the down image, and build a high-quality 3D model, RGBD model, when we understand everything around the car. This is an example, an image, the LiDAR measurement, and this is what we built from that. Another example. And then, after we have the RGBD model, we do the detection and the cognition based on better information. And here we also applied AI algorithms in order to understand the environment. So this is the free space. This is another free space and object detection. This is cognition that we done in Tel Aviv. This is some recording that done in Tel Aviv, in the seashore of Tel Aviv. You are invited, actually, it's very nice there. And some business traction. We have a POC with a leading European OEM. We have a project with another leading European Tier 1, and a co-development with the leading OEM. Thank you.
All right, everybody, we got lots to go through and lots to see. So don't forget, use Brella if you want to hear more from these startups. Next up, we've got Andy from Murata Technologies.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm Andy Miner, CEO and founder of Murata Technologies, and we make eyes for autonomy. So I don't think any of you came this morning in an autonomous vehicle, but maybe at the next expo that might happen, and our company's focused on, with our partners, making that happen. So a revolution in transportation is coming, and we'll see it in ride shares, delivery vehicles, and eventually in consumer vehicles that we'll have in all of our driveways. But one key factor that Jim mentioned and other speakers have mentioned is LiDAR. A really important technology as part of that sensor set to get the safety of these autonomous vehicles where it needs to be for wide deployment. And for the few of you that don't know what LiDAR is, tiny pulses of light generally are sent out and create a 3D image of the world around it. The vehicle, and fused with other sensors, allows for this level of safety that we need for autonomy. There's a huge problem. With all the OEMs we've been meeting with, this is just what we hear. Not exactly in these words, but one OEM said exactly this at the beginning of our meeting. There's some problems, and three of those big problems that the LiDAR industry is facing is mechanical reliability, field of view, and cost. Some of these systems that are being deployed still use mechanical bearings that wear out in 3 or 4 years. That doesn't meet the needs of our automotive customers. Field of view is a huge issue. A lot of LiDAR systems take a look at a narrow sliver of the world around it, 20, 30 degrees sometimes. That's not the way to deliver data that allows a vehicle to drive safely. And cost. For example, this Lexus test vehicle, really nice looking car, except for the LiDARs all over it. There's $150,000 worth of LiDAR systems on this. It's got to go way down to get this widely deployed. So we put together the team to do this. Myself, PhD from UC Berkeley, I'm the founder and CEO. My co-founder, John Maple, electrical engineer and optoelectronics expert from MIT. And Evgeny Morozov, PhD from Moscow State. We're car people and we're LiDAR people. These are a few of the companies that we work closely with, developing products and delivering technology to get on the road and into LiDAR. But from this experience that the team has, working in both these fields, is a massive disconnect. Technology that's being developed for LiDAR isn't right for automotive, not for the scale and not for the price points. So as a team, we started with a clean slate. And this breakthrough that we have in LiDAR is a fluidic maglev-based system. We take a high-speed rotating polygon and illuminate the field around a vehicle. And we do this with a thin layer of fluid and electromagnetics. And what that does is make our system weightless. With no mechanical contacts, there's no wear mechanisms, and there's no failure mechanisms, giving this technology automotive-type lifetimes. Addressing these issues directly. Massive field of views, high reliability, and really low cost and volume. Best thing about it is it works. We've demonstrated massive field of views, done LiDAR detection off our system, and guided by some of our work with tier ones, we've driven the system down to minus 40 degrees C and operated at a really high speeds, 15,000 RPM. That's more than enough to meet the most challenging requirements of LiDAR. Looking forward to working closely with partners and attacking two interesting angles of this automotive market. There's some interesting applications in controlled environments, airports, ports, where the owners and operators completely control the environment. They know exactly who's there, everyone's safety trained, people are moving, vehicles are moving slowly generally. It's a great place for autonomy to be deployed quickly. We're working with a key partner there. As we work with that group, we're also working closely to bring this technology into fleet and consumer applications, pushing forward. Thank you all very much. And we're Murata Technologies.
All right, guys. I'm now going to make the first of a series of bad puns throughout the day. Next up, we've got Bibrajit from Next Know Me. Give him a hand.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Bibrajit from Next Know Me. So we are focusing on building AI and software for self-driving vehicle with a focus on production. Why production? We talk about, right, none of us came in autonomous vehicle, but actually autonomous vehicle full level 4 is already in production.
The product of extensive global research and technology development, CAT Command for Hauling turns the dream of autonomous haulage into a reality for today's mining operations. Command combines the fleet, terrain, detect and health capabilities of CAT 9-star system, enabling you to improve the safety and productivity of mining operations.
So this is the Caterpillar mining truck in production back in 2013. So I worked there for 7 years. So level 4 full production is already there, and that's what we want to focus on. So my background, I have been started back on autonomous vehicle back in my grad school. During my PhD, I wrote a book where we talked about how to make a robust solution that can actually go into production. And after that, I worked 7 years at Caterpillar, where we have very good experience taking to in production. And since then, I moved to automotive industry, worked at Ford, Faraday Future, and Apple. And we're a new company. We just started. We are about less than 3 months ago. And we actually started right here at Plug and Play. But we are hard at work. In this 3 month, we actually have a project with a customer where we will show a full level 4 solution in 6 to 9 months. We also are adding new team member. We are actually actively working with both partners and university players because there are a lot of hard problems to solve. And we made a great technological advances in 3 months. Also, we raised, I think we talk about that. So what makes a difference? I mean, obviously, there are so many players. We believe there's these 3 things uniquely you have to take a solution to production. Very deep understanding of your domain expertise. For example, automotive or resource industry, as you see in the mining truck. You also have an understanding how this full stack solution works. Understanding a piece is not enough to take it to production. And the third piece is that AI, as you mentioned during the keynote, AI is an important piece. In our team, we have all the 3 combinations, and that's what gives us what we can take it to production. We will focus on the whole stack, only on the software and AI side. We believe unless you have a good understanding of how every piece works together, you cannot take it to production full time. Doing a piece is not going to give you that expertise because how they combine together is really a complex problem. This is a quick video where we can, in 3 months, we can show that we can detect a vehicle, pedestrian, and lane. Obviously, this is an early result. We will improve upon that. The idea is that we have a solution in 3 months. And as you mentioned in the keynote speaker, the planning is a hard problem, the decision making. We have some good idea, and we think AI is what the solution of it, not just throwing tremendous amount of data, but let AI learn how to do the planning algorithm, and the decision making. I would love to talk to all of you, and please to come talk to us. Thank you.
All right, you guys are probably all familiar with the show Shark Tank, right? Well, did you guys know that there's actually a Canadian version called The Dragon's Den? The next startup actually got the largest number of wows from the Dragon's Den TV show. Please welcome Nima from Xmatic.
All right, how's everyone doing? Got a little bit of a cold, so do apologize for that. My name is Nima. I'm the CEO and founder of Xmatic. But I'm also here representing an amazing group of engineers, people who I like to call multidisciplinarians. That's what you need if you want to build the next Google. But I'm also here to talk about self-driving. Self-driving is already here. And yet, you look out on the roads, you don't see a whole lot of self-driving cars. That's partly because the only way to get a self-driving car is for you to go out and buy, say, a Tesla or a Mercedes or an Audi. And while the average car on the road costs, say, around $13,000, these cars, well, they cost a little more than that. But setting aside cost, even if from today, every single car manufactured was somehow level 3, level 4 autonomous, it would still take 17 years for that trickle of new cars into the market to refresh the entire fleet. So how do you get autonomy to the masses now? We've got an idea. It's called Lane Cruise. Lane Cruise is an aftermarket add-on kit that will transform any regular car into a level 3 self-driving car. What you're watching is a 2012 Honda Civic, self-driving at the same level as a 2017 Tesla Model S. When you separate the concept of autonomy from car, you're able to massively shortcut the path to the market and lower the cost for everyone involved. Think about it. 99.9% of a car's parts between a self-driving car and a manually driven car are the same. So why chuck away the entire car instead of just adding the brains? That's exactly what Lane Cruise does. Lane Cruise is made up of several components. You got a camera unit mounts at the top of your rear view mirror. You got some actuators that you mount to your steering and your pedals. And you got a processing unit that goes under the driver's seat. But we also give you this amazing UI that not only gives you the ability to interact with our system, it also puts a PC in every car. Why? Because the data analytics and collection capabilities that affords you right on board with the uplink massively outweigh even the value of self-driving itself. So, am I competing with Google? No. You have to understand the market is made up of several segments. The Googles and Ubers of the world work on level 4, level 5 autonomy. That's great. Guess what? That's a $500,000 car. It's not very likely that you'll get that as a car for yourself, but access it as a service. And then you got your Teslas and your Hondas of the world working on level 2, level 3 autonomy for new cars. That's also great. Price of admission here, you buy a whole new car. That leaves a massive market of cars already on the road, fully capable of being upgraded to level 3 systems, almost completely untouched. And if I can leave you with one thought, Tesla can only make as many self-driving cars as they can make cars. Xmatic doesn't have that limitation. Thank you.
All right, and now I'm very happy to welcome to the stage Paris and Payton from DeepScale.
Yeah, hi everyone. So we're DeepScale. We build perception technology for fully autonomous vehicles and advanced driver assistance systems. So our company is actually a spin out from UC Berkeley based on research from Professor Kurt Koitzer's group. But since then, We have scaled to a team of over 15 engineers with a team of experienced researchers in high-performance computing and deep learning. So as background, when looking at an autonomous car, there generally are four main components within the flow of information. The first stage is sensors. So you'll often see cameras, ultrasonic sensors, radar, and LiDAR sensors within the car that feed data to offline maps and real-time perception systems. Offline maps are used in order to localize the vehicle within a city and understand where it exactly is located, while real-time perception systems try to understand what objects are around the vehicle and what they are doing. This information feeds into path planning algorithms and actuation that actually execute on this information and get the car where it needs to be. DeepScale builds highly accurate real-time perception systems that run on commodity hardware within cars today. So what are approaches to real-time perception today? One approach that is currently deployed in many driver assist systems at the moment features a dedicated processor bundled with a specific camera in a closed module. However, this predates deep learning and often means that there is relatively narrow capabilities with this system. Deep learning, however, has led a lot of breakthroughs in perception on semantic segmentation and object detection. But it often requires an expensive, power-hungry GPU to run. DeepScale's approach is to build small, efficient, deep neural networks that run on low-cost, automotive-grade ARM processors. And we have an extensive background with papers such as SqueezeNet, SqueezeNet, and Boda in this technology. Now, my colleague Peyton will walk you through a product offering we have.
Yeah, so today we're demonstrating one of our products, which generates 3D bounding boxes around objects in its environment. So you can see the output of our model is in the top left section of the screen. And this is pretty similar to a lot of things that you guys have probably seen before. But the key takeaway here is that we're running this on a processor that can fit into the palm of your hand, that you can mass produce at an affordable price, and that also consumes a small enough amount of energy to make it feasible for deployment. We're very interested in all topics related to perception systems, so if you're interested to hear more, we didn't really have time to talk about the technical details. Please come and find Paris and I. Thank you.
Gosh, these 3-minute presentations are actually really fun. They're great for energy, you know what I mean? All right, now we have David from Plus AI.
Thank you. So Plus AI is a company that focuses on transforming mobility with artificial intelligence today. So the key word here is we focus on things that we can do to make an impact today rather than 5 years later. We put together a team, a multinational team in Silicon Valley as well as in China, taking advantage of both the talent on technology as well as the market. We have a veteran team on both technology and businesses. And we put together an engineering team that span across automotive industry as well as technology industry. And we work with the most leading edge research institute together on some of the most advanced topics in AI. We have a level 4 autonomous driving stack. In fact, we've been conducting public road testing in California since early this year on both local driving in the Bay Area as well as highway driving. We're one of the companies that has gotten the California autonomous driving testing permit. We have a plethora of patents covering the entire stack of autonomous driving, from localization to control to perception to planning. So when we talk about autonomous driving, people typically think about Waymo cars, but it's much broader than that. When we focus on the various applications of autonomous driving that we can actually impact today. And when we look at that, it's the entire spectrum of things that can move, from passenger cars to commercial vehicles to specialty vehicles in agriculture as well as industrial and civil specialty vehicles. And we work with many of the companies that are leading those edges and help them make autonomous driving happen to achieve real impact today. So what you're seeing here are some of the projects, some in POC stage, some in volume production stage in various industries. So for instance, in agriculture, we're working with the leading agriculture tech company in China. So this is autonomous driving tractor that we produced. In level 3 autopilot, we've worked with the largest automobile companies in China as well, producing autopilot system for them. And with the driverless autonomous vehicles, we've been conducting test pilots with those companies here in the Bay Area. So some of the views you see here are the night driving in Mountain View as well as daylight driving in 280. So what we focus on is how do we take the level 4 autonomous driving stack and apply that to the things that people have already been working on today. So intelligent sensor is one of the things that we produced. We looked at sensor fusion. We look at how do we take that, things that people have been working on over the past decades. Some of these are in the past years, and produce products in the next year or two. And if you're interested in doing that, please come to talk to us.
All right, guys, it's time for us to all get a little refresher. There is food and drinks outside. We have a 5 to 10-minute break. Please be back here by 10:55. Startups for the next section. Please make sure you guys make your way over to this area for seating. See you guys in 10 minutes. everybody. Let's settle back into our seats. We have a lot of startups to go through. Make sure you find your friends, your family, your coworkers, get them to their seats. All right, everybody. Awesome. So I do want to make a quick announcement right now. We actually want to bring to the stage one of our newest mobility anchor partners. It is Hella Ventures. They are one of our corporate winners for this batch. So without further ado, let's welcome Jason and Marco from Hella.
Yeah, just quick announcement. They weren't here in the room in the morning to say a few words. They were actually closing another deal, and lately they have made so many good investments. So with that, maybe you guys want to share some stories with the audience.
Okay, so what are we winning here?
So in the morning, we announced 3 of corporate partners that they were most active partners in the past 3 to 6 months with a lot of activities from POCs to investment. And on the investment side, you guys got the award.
That's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure. So no, thank you so much, Soban, to you and your team. I mean, I just look at this event here, and I would say each year, but actually each quarter, you guys step it up. And really impressive, the event last night, and also here today, and even these 3-minute pitches, just getting more of the startups in. So for us, it's just been, even though we're a new anchor partner, it's been an honor being a part of Plug and Play for the last couple of years now. We're not only here, but now we joined the startup Automotive in Stuttgart, and then recently in Shanghai. And I'm actually surprised that we're the most active, but maybe what I would say to this, and maybe to say to other corporate sponsors that have joined here, it's about these events, but it's not only about these events. I would say really the key to making this a success is really what you put into it, you know? And this means, you know, using their team, using the facilities here, and which they've been so gracious of. We, you know, like earlier this year, we had an event, Startup Demo Day, where it was a similar type of event with pitches, et cetera, and we're trying to reach the automobility community. So thank you so much. I mean, I can't say enough about the support here, and look forward to continuing in the future. Marco?
Well, I think there's not much to add. To all startups, we do have a partnership on top of that, on top of the anchor partnership with Plug and Play. We are looking into the future now to do co-investments with Plug and Play, and I think that can be a very strong combination and partnership that we can offer from the automotive and from the investment side. So thank you, Plug and Play.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So let's get back into it. Our next startup actually came a really long distance to be here with us today, all the way from Korea. Let's welcome David from Impressivo.
Hello, I'm David. Thank you so much for coming. When I was young, there was a terrible car accident. 16 people died on the spot, and more than 50 people were seriously injured. I was on the bus, and it was when I was only 4 years old. The main cause of this accident was distracted driving. Every day, 10 people die on the road, and more than 10,000 people are seriously injured by the distracted driving. So what causes distracted driving? Let's look at this picture. We have a lot of buttons to control car function. Have you ever made a mistake when controlling, window or music or navigation, things like that, while driving? So for example, to control radio or multimedia, we need to look at the button and we need to find the button and push the button, right? It requires more than two-step gesture and it takes our eyes off the road. So we develop, that's why actually many automotive companies are trying to solve this problem and innovate their human-machine interface. So we developed this fabric-based intelligent touch interface called Fab. Our interface can recognize force touch and multi-touch simultaneously, and our software algorithm can even track down the directional force and curved touch and grip force, grip posture, and grip gesture also. Our application doesn't just stop with fabric. We can add any touch cover layer such as fabric, leather, and silicone rubber, things like that. So you don't need to look at the button anymore. You just touch anywhere on any surface. You can control navigation, your smartphone, or window, air condition, things like that with very intuitive gestures. This is not a prototype. We have developed smart steering wheel, and we already tested with the real car. And also the grip interface to recognize users' driving pattern. And also we have developed some touch car seat cover to detect the user's behavior for artificial intelligent car. So we are going to sell this skin wheel interface module, 15 module, to the aftermarket first, and we already working with a major OEM company for the smart steering wheel, and we developed car seat cover also. So we will target aftermarket first, and we will expand it to the tier 1 market. We are from the Samsung Electronics and Semiconductor, and we are from the Samsung Advanced Institute of Technology. So all of our members have worked in human-computer interaction field, especially specialized in multi-touch technology over 20 years. We are looking for $1.5 million seed round to expand our team member and to boost up our business globally. And $500K is already committed by the neighbor, which is the largest search engine company in South Korea. So in 3 seconds, we may lose everything we love. So we will do our best to change the way we interact with the car. And let's build the future and better world together. Thank you so much.
Up next, we have Joshua Montgomery, founder and CEO of Mycroft AI.
Hello, I'm Joshua Montgomery, the CEO of Mycroft AI. Voice is coming to every device, every platform, and every household globally. Why? Because it's intuitive, it's simple, and it's powerful. But today's voice technologies are locked in the vaults of Silicon Valley. Solutions from companies like Amazon, Apple, Facebook, and Google, they're walled off, proprietary, and secretive. And this is a huge problem for everyone who isn't a Silicon Valley giant. Companies have learned from the mistakes of media and publishing. They understand that it doesn't matter what your company does, Amazon is coming for you. Smart CEOs aren't going to send their customer interactions to Google or Amazon anymore. So how do we solve this problem? How do we provide companies with data independence? How do we provide customers with privacy? Meet Mycroft, the world's first open source voice assistant. Mycroft is the open alternative to Siri and Alexa. Using Mycroft technology, developers and enthusiasts and Fortune 500 companies can deploy state-of-the-art voice assistant technology while maintaining data independence. And there are a ton of companies looking for voice solutions. The voice market is growing at a rapid pace and is on track to be $15 billion by 2021. And like Red Hat for enterprise servers, WordPress for dynamic content, Android for mobile operating systems, Mycroft is the open solution for the market. We began with a Kickstarter campaign where we raised $193,000. Our success got us an invitation to join Techstars. Then Sean Fitzgerald joined the team. Sean was the first technical hire at Siri and the second engineer assigned to Echo. During Techstars, we signed an agreement with Ubuntu that will put Mycroft on 40 million devices in the next 12 months. In September of 2016, we raised a $350,000 angel round and won a $50,000 grant from Launch KC. In January, we were invited to join 500 startups and accepted a strategic investment from Jaguar Land Rover. During 500, we won Tech Week Nationals and took home another $50,000. We delivered our Mark I reference device to backers in July and released our first alpha in August. Last month, we went to Paris and took home 15,000 euros from Hello Tomorrow, and we landed our first enterprise customer, a Fortune 500 company right here in the Bay Area. Finally, a year after closing our angel round, we're closing a Series Seed with backers that include Social Starts, TechNexus Ventures, Shure Microphones, and Deep Space Ventures. If you have any interest in voice-enable your products or investing in an open future for voice, please get in touch. Thank you.
All right, so our next company, their CEO actually owns more Hawaiian shirts than most people alive. His name is David, but presenting today is actually Adrian from Trillium.
Thank you, thank you. I'll get right into it. At Trillium, we make connected cars safe. In mere minutes, all connected cars can be hacked. We heard about some really cool innovations for autonomous drive, but the fundamental truth is, unless a cyber-secure system is deployed in the vehicle, this will never be a reality. At Trillium, we develop Secure IoT. This is our core patented product. It is a multi-layered automotive cybersecurity solution, including protection for in-vehicle network messages, firewall technology, over-the-air technology, as well as a back-end data management tool. Our business model is based on a cybersecurity as a service approach where we charge fleet owners $10 per vehicle per month. Our business model is based on a revenue sharing approach where we work together with automotive OEMs, insurance companies, or wireless carriers to deliver the service to the fleet owner. We are very excited to be able to have conversations with the many insurance companies here today about this business model. By 2030, analysts expect the automotive cybersecurity as a service market to be worth $22 billion. Trillium and partners are targeting a 2020 10% market share deployment. So what sets Trillium apart from our competitors in the automotive cybersecurity space is our focus on a multi-layered solution. We provide all the requisite parts of a cyber system. This means not a single point of failure, but a multi-layered offering. Our traction. Since coming out of stealth mode in early 2017, we started more than 10 projects in our focus markets, being Asia, Europe, and North America. The inclusion in Plug and Play has been a great start for our North American expansion, and I'm looking forward to having a lot of conversations with you today about how we can take this even further. Trillium is made of one great team. This means that we bring together people from varied backgrounds and varied skill sets. This includes automotive, wireless communications, cellular services, but also traditional semiconductors. This means that we can put together the multi-layered offerings that we have. In essence, Trillium's technology stops car hacking. Now, out in the room over here, we have a demo set up with our actual technology in motion running on real automotive hardware. I would like to invite everyone who's interested in talking to us about our solutions for a demo after this pitch. We're especially interested in talking to insurance companies, wireless carriers, traditional security companies, automotive OEMs, and tier ones. I look forward to continuing the conversation. Thank you.
right. So do you guys know that saying, we learn something new every single day? Well, here's a fun fact that maybe some of you guys know, maybe you don't, but basically, animals actually use vibrations to detect possible danger. It can warn them of when attacks are going to happen. And the coolest example of this is actually the elephant. The elephant can sense when danger is going to happen through vibrations via their feet and their trunks. So what that really leads us to is the question, can we also learn from animals and detect dangers or issues with your car through vibration analysis? Please welcome Nicholas from CarFit.
Thank you. So did you know that elephants have a superpower? So they can sense threat by vibration only, and sometimes from miles away. So when you transpose that into your car, what does it mean? Are you able to identify where this vibration is coming from? Do we have all parts geared up with sensors? In fact, there are a lot of wearing parts without sensors because it costs too much, and there is no way to identify where the vibrations are coming from. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, last year only 11,000 collisions are attributable to tire failure. 19,000 people were injured, 1,000 died out of the collision. At CarFit, we believe, or we think this is unacceptable. And we are bringing a breakthrough solution that allows you to monitor vibration inside your car and understand their root cause before it's too late. Our solution is made of a very simple vibration sensor that you just stick in your car. There is no cabling, no installation, and it will warn you on a chat box of regular maintenance and exceptional issues. The magic behind relies on a patented technology that combines NVH, so the car vibration science, leveraged by artificial intelligence. And we are building a unique knowledge base that is multi-brand, multi-model, to serve both the car in circulation and the future of cars, including autonomous cars that will need self-diagnostic solutions. Our company, our team is made of experts from the NVH world and the artificial intelligence and machine learning, and we extended our expertise with key agreement with OEM and auto service company, for instance, to access historical maintenance information. We have a joint lab with the CEA, that is one of the largest European research center. We address the market with different opportunities. So for instance, auto service, like with No Auto, we provide a contextual trigger engine that allow them to bring back customers to their center. We integrate natively our technology with Tier 1 and OEM. Or for insurance company, we build usage-based, augmented by the general condition of the car to serve better the market. We are in commercial deployment, raising money currently. I am Nicolas, and from CarFit, we are making sense out of car vibration. Thank you.
All right, our next presenter actually hiked the Great Wall of China this summer, and now he hiked his way over here to tell you about BrainCo. Please welcome Max.
Hi guys, my name is Max Newland. I'm a research scientist at BrainCo. We are a brain-machine interface company. We were incubated in the Harvard Innovation Lab, and I'm here to share our vision for improving automotive safety and personalization. So this is a really, really important issue. Every single year, over $100 billion in costs associated just with fatigue or drowsiness-related accidents. And sadly, for all fatal crashes, drowsiness causes about 21% of them. And for the market that we're going after, they have signaled that safety and personalization is really, really important to them, the Chinese automotive market. So how do we do this? Well, we've developed a wireless electroencephalography device from the ground up. And what it does is detect the subtle electrical activity in your brain. We can break this down and based on different features like frequency and amplitude, detect certain states like drowsiness, low attention, and high attention. There's our designer, Jiao Yi, wearing that device. It looks awesome. So for safety, the model is this. We detect drowsiness, and then through a series of different alerts that we can trigger in the car, they could be auditory, they could be visual, they could be tactile, or perhaps some semi-autonomous features can come online. And the purpose is to reduce driver reaction time so that they can avoid dangerous situations. So that's the safety side of things. And the personalization side of things is actually a bit more interesting, I think. So with EEG, you can detect something that is akin to preference or interest. So imagine you're driving in the car and your favorite song comes on, or an advertisement starts playing. We can collect data with a certain amount of fidelity on how you respond to that type of information. And the direction that brain-machine interface is going is that in the next couple of years, we'll probably also be able to implement things like controlling different aspects of the driving experience, like, for example, your sunroof or your radio. So who are we? Well, we're a team of scientists and researchers from Harvard and MIT. That's Bi-Cheng Han. He's our CEO and founder. He's getting his PhD from the Harvard Center for Brain Science. We have a couple PhDs from Harvard and MIT with experience in machine learning and medical device development. And just really quickly, beyond the automotive industry, we are developing products for the education and healthcare spaces to help improve learning outcomes by detecting student engagement, improving attention levels for people with attention deficit disorders, and also improving recovery for stroke patients. We've already sold $4 million worth of devices after $5 million in funding, so that gives us a really high capital efficiency in the broader BMI market. And we are raising a $20 million Series A right now. It's going to close probably in the next month. It's about 75% subscribed. If you guys do want to talk about anything at all, or you're just interested and want to chat, I think you can find me on the back of your badge. Thank you guys very much.
All right, our next presenters are going to do something a little different. They're actually going to show you a video because there's just too much to say in just 3 minutes. Please welcome Brian from Olympus Sky.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Brian Barker with Olympus Sky. We are a cybersecurity startup with a breakthrough solution for protected, secure data communications, and this is our story.
The increasing connectivity of today's vehicles presents even greater challenges for vehicle network security. Currently, connected vehicle network security architectures are based on public key infrastructure, or PKI. In a PKI-based network, every node must authenticate with cryptographic keys to every other node with which it must communicate. Each key is derived from certificates that must be managed by a centralized trust authority outside the local network, presenting opportunities for system breach and intrusion. Consider the case of a relatively small network of 51 nodes. A fully interconnected mesh would require exactly 1,275 keys. As the size and number of networks grow, the sheer number of these keys and certificates challenges the practical scalability of the network design, as it is burdened with increased processing resources, higher network latency, and ultimately higher maintenance costs. How can this problem be solved? A new solution from Olympus Sky Technologies called Autonomous Key Management, or AKM, is a decentralized cryptographic key management solution that provides a foundational network security architecture. In AKM, all nodes within a local network are authenticated into a single broadcast security group, dramatically simplifying the network architecture. AKM is a zero-knowledge authentication protocol, and so trusted secrets are never shared. AKM eliminates the need for a centralized external trust authority. AKM keys are generated internally within each node of the security group based on random data, frequently refreshed, and are never exchanged, closing off all pathways traditionally used by hackers to breach a network. In the event of a breach, AKM networks can dynamically reprovision according to network policy, neutralizing the breach and continuing operation. This self-healing feature represents a profound capability not currently present in commercially available key management solutions. The closed nature of AKM networks makes them astronomically difficult to hack and less vulnerable to quantum computing-based hacking. You can't hack or intercept what you can't see. AKM's simplicity allows network architectures to be perfectly scalable. Without the need to derive and exchange keys, network latency is not impacted by the AKM security protocol. Normally required processing resources are substantially minimized, affording a more streamlined, efficient, and secure network architecture. Olympus Sky recently completed a proof of concept with a major Tier 1 automotive supplier for an AKM-enabled vehicle gateway module. Applications of AKM extend across many use cases throughout connected vehicle ecosystems such as fleet management, trucking, buses, and heavy equipment for construction, industrial, and agriculture. Olympus Sky is seeking strategic partners and investors for developing a production-ready automotive key management solution, expanding formal verification of AKM, and expanding business development and sales operations in Poland and the U.S. to create and pursue opportunities in automotive and related verticals. AKM is the future of IoT and connected vehicle networks. It is simple, scalable, and secure.
Thank you. When it comes to cybersecurity, we really feel like we have something like the cure for cancer, and we look forward to talking to you about it at our booth outside. Thank you.
All right. So the next startup is actually one that is very dear to my heart because they actually come from my alma mater, UC Davis. Please welcome to the stage, Sue Bin of TaxSense.
Good morning, everyone. So I'm just going to get started right over here. So TaxSense has pioneered as what we call the flexible ionotronic sensing technology. It is a new and innovative way to measure sensitivity, response time with high signal-to-noise ratio. It is a new technology for mechanical sensors because we use different types of ionic material such as film, gel, liquid, and fabric. So what we want to do is focus on the human wearable interface by giving the digital world a sense of touch. And some of the applications for FITS could be smart homes, smart cars, wearables, toys for kids, robotics, mobile phones, and even computers. And it has high sensitivity. We use proprietary ionic materials, and it's completely washable and noise resistant. And it can detect, we can digitalize the body movements as well as gestures through tendons, muscles, and bones, and even detect touch through 3D touch, as well as get vascular changes by reading the blood pressure, measuring the blood pressure externally. So these are some of the sensors out in the market right now. And Fabronics is our 4th generation. It has, even with the smallest amount of pressure, it has high sensitivity, it has dynamic and static responses with high resolution. The signal-to-noise ratio is really high, but the data processing is really low. We can read constant and fluctuating measurements. It is highly flexible, comes with different shapes and sizes. And the best part is that the cost to create these sensors are extremely low. The main composite for Fabronics is fabric, but we can use glass as well as plastic to create it. And with them, we can obtain up to 90% transparency. And I'm going to leave you guys off with a short video to kind of show you a visual. But if you guys have any questions, I'm going to be just right outside those doors, and I'll be waiting for your questions. Thank you.
This is the Fabronics sensor. Flexible, comfortable, water-resistant fabric-based package. It uses TacSense's proprietary flexible iontronic sensing technology. This leads to pressure and force data with incredibly high sensitivity and signal-to-noise ratio. This Fabronics sensor is our standard size and can be customized to specification to be suited to any application. This also opens the door to otherwise impossible applications in wearable robotic, AR, and VR applications. In the corner of the screen, there is a graph displaying the sensor data in real time using our TacGraph PC software. Our Fabronic demo kit comes with 4 Fabronic sensors, a wireless sensing module, and our TacGraph software. Thank you for considering the TacSense pressure sensing solution. Contact us and we will help to make your product go beyond our sense of touch.
All right, so our next presenter is very young, but he's been very busy. Coming all the way from Lufthansa to MIT to Uber and now to Zabbix. Please welcome Christian.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Christian. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Zabbix. Now, all companies want to innovate, but most fall behind their expectations. They just cannot partner at scale. Take a car manufacturer, for example. They would like to work with hundreds of partners, for example, insurance companies, to build personalized insurance products. And cities, thousands of cities. But complexity is a blocker in this system. One of the car manufacturers is sharing 140 interfaces, digital interfaces with their partners. It takes a year to integrate, and since it's such a big block for the IT department, the project actually gets pushed out 2 or 3 years. That's why we built Zabbix. A connection tool that empowers the machine conversation. A connection tool that empowers companies to combine data from their legacy systems with modern APIs and publish that and make it available to their partners. For us, data integration, transformation, and normalization is key to empower that exchange, instead of developers writing custom code for each individual integration. Now take a look at the car manufacturer, for instance. We work with one that has these 140 services, and they leverage our technology to move from complexity to simplicity inside of the company. But on the other end, there are the partners, the insurance companies, for instance. They want to integrate not only with one, but let's say with 50 different car companies in order to get the data and build out new products in that sense. That is the complexity that we're working with and that we're helping to reduce. For the insurance company, this could mean that instead of building a $50 million revenue channel, they're actually able to build out a $5 billion revenue channel. Now, it's not only insurance, other industries, suppliers, cities, service providers. They're all partnering in the connected vehicle space. And the market around this is expected to grow from currently $12 billion over the next 3 years to roughly $36 billion. For us, this picture is not theory, it's reality. We've been working with companies on like vehicle manufacturers, like BMW, Daimler Fleetboard, with suppliers, Bosch and Goodyear, with cities, and with Fiverr, through which we reach hundreds of cities. And this gives us the power to not only sell a subscription tool, a license to each individual player in the system, but over time generate value to connect the nodes. 2 key points which has helped us achieve this and grow to this. First of all, our team across San Francisco and Berlin with expertise from industry, Lufthansa and Uber, some examples, enterprise software and API experience. And we've gone a long way together through MIT Sandbox, Techstars New York. Plug and Play has helped us grow both in Berlin and here in San Francisco. And Google recently named us one of the top 10 European startups in 2017. But also our partners, PwC Europe and TLGG, which help us get into the right conversations, and SAP is a tech integration partner for us. Overall, if you want to speed up the digital project at your company, let's have a chat at our booth. In the end, it's any industry. any company, any data-driven partnership where Zabbix helps connect people and machines. Thank you.
Our next presenter comes all the way from Memphis and Canada. Here is Ken from Protect.
Everything you have on you right now, even the chair you're sitting on, was delivered by a truck. In fact, the whole North American supply chain depends on trucks arriving on time. Hi, I'm Ken Sills, CEO and co-founder of Protect. We make sure trucks get there on time. It doesn't matter whether it's driven by a computer or some guy named Bob. Trucks break down, sometimes on the side of the road, sometimes all over the road. It's never a good time, it's never a good place, and customers like you get mad. The size of this issue is huge. A single on-the-road breakdown typically costs a company $4,000 in extra charges. That's $10 billion per year that's lost because maintenance issues are happening on the side of the road instead of being addressed beforehand in the shop. Protect has worked with OEMs, Tier 1 manufacturers, and fleet operators to design the hardware, software, and algorithms needed to predict these breakdowns. Our hardware installs in seconds and immediately delivers the highest quality data in the industry. Our proprietary architecture is 100 times faster than standard big data solutions because it's been designed specifically to be used with automotive data. That allows us to deliver real-time, high-value predictive diagnostics to manufacturers and fleet operators. And we're already doing it. We have testimonials from industry heavyweights and a case study showing massive ROI. This is from a pilot with a municipal bus fleet. A 90-day pilot where we delivered results worth $10,000, and that's with just 20 units installed. The ROI was so clear that they're expanding to their full fleet in January. So how do we do it? This is a chart showing the nitrous oxide concentration in the diesel exhaust of one of the trucks on our network. That's not noise, that's data. It varies dramatically depending on whether or not the truck is driving up a mountain in Denver in the winter or idling in a parking lot in the summer in Florida. Context is king. It's all about context. But trucks these days have a sensor for everything, and armed with the vehicle speed, the load on the engine, the temperature at the exhaust, even the angle that the driver is pushing down on the gas pedal, we can identify the operational state of the vehicle, the precursors to downtime, and the time remaining before action needs to be taken. And our network gets more accurate as it grows. Our trucks learn from each other and from the mechanics that are using our system. This allows us to deliver predictions weeks before failure. To date, we've acquired over 1 terabyte of training data from trucks on our network. And we have agreements with OEMs, telematics providers, and Tier 1 manufacturers that is going to expand that by a factor of 100 over the next 6 months. But we're ready for it. The Protect team combines field expertise, deep field expertise in data science and vehicle diagnostics with industry expertise in the telematics industry, turning science into product. This is the team that is developing the source of knowledge for the automotive industry. Thank you very much.
Our next presenter has one of those really familiar, friendly faces that you guys have actually all probably seen at some point. Please welcome to the stage, Gary from Shenetics.
On? Yeah, thank you for that. Shenetics is a great opportunity for us to share with you how a conversational AI platform can provide an enjoyable experience for people to talk to, connect, and interact with all kinds of technologies. Visualize she, your personal assistant, as you're having a dialogue. You're having a conversation, a natural conversation about what is that movie that I want to go see. I want to go see that ball game that I missed last week. How do I do that? I can go ahead and execute every one of those commands through our voice interaction with one statement. You know, how do we do that? She learns, she understands, she knows your lifestyle, she understands your daily life activities. She is your personal assistant that's individualized for each and every one of you. With that in mind, keep in mind that the simulated human experience is a great, great opportunity to interface through voice with your car.
Hi, my name is Gary. I'm with Genetics, and I want to introduce you to She, the simulated human experience. Fantastic in terms of the ultimate personal assistant. Leveraging artificial intelligence, she learns, she understands, she reasons, she makes great recommendations.
Hi, Gary.
Yeah, I see. Turn my engine on, set my temperature to 68 degrees.
Gary, I will turn on your engine and set the temperature to 68 degrees.
Actually, play Bruno Mars.
Gary, I will play Bruno Mars on Spotify.
So envision driving down the road and you want to listen to your favorite music. You want to find your favorite restaurant. You want to go make some reservations at the restaurant. At the same time, she can execute all of those commands at once, seamlessly, effortlessly, conveniently, so you can keep your eyes on the road and your hands on the steering wheel.
Start engine, play song sugar, driving directions.
Gary, I will turn on your engine, play sugar on Spotify and retrieve driving directions to target. Gary, I will turn on your engine, play sugar on Spotify and retrieve driving directions to target.
Thanks, you. Everybody's lifestyle and everybody's daily activities are really different. She can accommodate that because she can personalize her interaction with you because, like I said earlier,
Turn my lights to blue. Oh, heck yeah.
she learns, she knows, she understands your behavior patterns and your preferences and what you like. If you had this available, you could put in your car, would you buy it?
Of course, I will buy it. There is no doubt.
Perfect. Thank you.
No problem. I really can't wait to use this in my car.
The simulated human experience.
So that particular video, we did that on Friday, unrehearsed. Everybody in that video, our friends here at Plug and Play, nobody knew they were going to be in that video. I just asked them to come down. Would they help me out and put this video together? So this is genuine reactions, genuine interactions of multiple commands in one single statement. There's context. As you notice, the NVIDIA board, when you think about that, well, we run in the cloud. We also run standalone in the vehicle without connectivity or when there's spotted connectivity. Just real quick, our story here. This has been a fantastic experience for Genetics. It's great people, super energy, positive results. It's been super, super exciting. I'd just like to say thank you from Dean and I. We really appreciate it. Appreciate all of you, the corporate partners here today, and everybody in the audience. Thank you very much, and happy holidays.
Well, I was not warned of that. That was interesting. There was a couple seconds of me there. I did not know that. Thank God it was only a few seconds. So our next presenter is actually involved in a lot of plug-and-play programs here. They have a solution that's so versatile that it can just be applied to almost all of our verticals. Please welcome Mike from CryptoMove.
Not quite Mike, but I'm Rowan, founding engineer, CryptoMove.
When you want to protect something that's really important to you, you want to move it around continuously. And that's exactly what CryptoMove does. And that's exactly what CryptoMove does with data. CryptoMove came out of stealth at the start of this year, after 5 years of R&D. We built an all-star team that consists of prior successful founders, PhDs, security, and distributed storage experts. And only in a few months, we have a couple of Fortune 100 customers, including BNP and Department of Homeland Security. So what does CryptoMove do? CryptoMove acts as a vault. It takes your sensitive data and performs a series of operations on it, including mutation, fragmentation, re-encryption, all while constantly moving the data from one point to another, so your data is never at rest. The idea behind CryptoMove is called moving target defense. Moving target defense is a game-changing paradigm shift in the field of security. The idea behind moving target defense is basically to make it difficult for the attackers in studying and planning their attacks. Moving target defense changes the game plan because today the attackers have as much time as possible to plan their attacks because, let's be honest, the defense infrastructures, they're not changing as long as we would want to change them to. CryptoMove and moving target defense flips the symmetry of time in your favor. We have a couple of use cases. We can currently secure your crown jewels or data on drones, edge devices, IoT gateways. And we can also protect your data in untrusted cloud environments like AWS, Box, and Azure. With the rise of blockchain and IoT in the past couple of years, one of the more important things and one of the more important concerns that everybody here in the audience should have is key management. Securing your keys is as important as securing your data, if not more. The reason we've seen all the breaches and attacks in the past couple of years and the past couple of months is because the existing defense mechanisms are easy and a stationary target. But CryptoMove can help you with that. CryptoMove can provide you with key management capability, and along with moving target defense, it can help mutate, fragment, encrypt, and also constantly move your keys. So at any point in time, the attackers do not know where the data is. We've been recognized as one of the top innovative security startups of 2017. We also recently closed an oversubscribed Series A round with the top-tier Silicon Valley VC investors. We'll be able to announce that in the month of January. So basically, stop leaving your data at rest. CryptoMove it. Thank you.
All right, so I love the fun fact for this next one because it's pretty timely. So our next presenter believes in Santa Claus. Please welcome Nick from Sentience.
Thank you so much. So there's no question that the future of the automotive industry is focused on providing advanced mobility services to our customers. And we've heard a lot about the sensors and the detections and the AI being deployed in the vehicle to really monitor the performance of a vehicle. What I'm going to talk to you about is how we can really consider the data on the individual and how people go about their daily lives to make the vehicle more adaptive to its user and able to make ride-hailing services, car sharing services, and in any other way that you're impacting the mobility of your customer using our data intelligence to be able to make your company more relevant to them and anticipate mobility needs. So we're a data science company. We have a little SDK that installs into your mobile app. It extracts the gyroscope, accelerometer, time location data from the device and gives us access to this raw low-level sensor data that then we're able to turn into intelligence about where your customers go and their mobility in between those locations in order to paint a very clear picture about how they live their lives. At the base layer, we're doing different event detections. We're able to detect home and work. We're able to know if someone is running, walking, biking, just based on the motion of a smartphone, for example. We can do driver-passenger danger detection just based on a unique driving ID and a driving style, for example. We're also able to detect different venue mapping, so we know the kinds of preferences for locations that they go to. Are they a wine lover? Are they a clubber? Do they love coffee shops? All of this information can be used to be able to understand who they are and be able to make the vehicle, say, recommend the kinds of locations along a desired route that are relevant to them. We're able to detect different moments. So, for instance, if you get into a vehicle, the car would know that you're driving from home and then very likely to drive from home to work. But on the way, you typically stop by a school. So we know you're an active parent. You need to drop off your child. The vehicle can be relevant to you in that moment. We're then able to create different segments for you and really recreate the timeline of every individual. We also do advanced driving event detections just using the motion data in the smartphone. We know if you're accelerating, braking, turning lanes, and we're able to score drivers accordingly using that data. Again, we're working with one of the largest ride-hailing companies on the planet right now to be able to score their drivers using the detections just made solely on the motion of a smartphone. We're also able to help fleet management companies not only by detecting driving behavior and are they driving that service vehicle in a safe manner, but how are they adhering to the schedule and the locations that on their agenda for that day. We're also able to help companies build more user-based insurance models, for example, and again, contextualizing where people are going before, during, and after a trip can help you make the vehicle more adaptive to the consumer and recommend the mobility that's needed in that moment for that individual. And again, if you can profile the consumer, you can market to them as well. You can make recommendations about the kinds of places they might want to go, maybe work together to sell through new services in partnership with partners in the dash of the vehicle. There's a lot of great applications there and ways to monetize the customer that's behind the wheel. And now what I'd like you all to do is take out your phone and download this demo app. It's called Journeys 2. It's available for iOS and Android. All the detections that I showed you in that pyramid will recreate for you on your own smartphone so you can get a sense of how our technology works. Thank you so much.
Focus Week is a new initiative that we launched in 2017 for all of our corporate partners and startups to come together once a month and get to do a lot of things from deal flows to office hours to even joining in the corporate best practice series events. It's just a very fun time for everybody to be together.
Silicon Valley produces 26,000 startups every year and it's very overwhelming. So Plug and Play really helped us to tap into this space and understand it much better and get connected to the right startups and to the right quality startups.
Today's been just a great day to understand more about the program, the context of how it's growing to go from mobility and IoT and starting to look at the combination of that. And we believe that that synergy is really important.
Focus Week has been great for us. We've been meeting 3 new companies that we hadn't been in touch with so far. And at the same time, we managed to reconnect with another 2 that we've already started proof of concepts with over the last few months.
Focus Week was a blast because it gave me an opportunity to meet both corporates and startups. If you have the time, or even if you don't have the time, make the time to get involved at Plug and Play, and in particular the Focus Weeks that they are putting on. They're highly worth the time spent.
Oh boy, you guys are seeing a lot of me today. Yes, Focus Weeks. This is actually something that I definitely want to bring to your attention. If you are a startup, if you are a corporate partner for IoT and mobility, please do try to make it to all of our Focus Weeks next year. They're always going to be the second week of the month when a batch is in session. Plenty of things going on. It's like a mini expo week, basically. There's like office hours and deal flows and, you know, usually at least 2 headlining events. So like Mike said, if you don't have the time, you should still make the time. All right, so our next presenter is going to be talking about something really cool, but his fun fact actually is a bit amusing. His first AI prototype was actually an AI fart detector. Yes, fart detector. Definitely something we need to know. So let's welcome to the stage Reality AI.
And yes, we did that. Hi, I'm Stuart Pfeffer. I'm co-founder and CEO of Reality AI, and we are working with automotive, industrial, and consumer products companies that build products instrumented with sensors. What problem are we trying to solve? Well, working with sensor data is really hard, and it's especially hard if you're working with high sample rate data and need to deploy at the edge where you can't necessarily count on a high bandwidth cloud connection. Our solution is an AI signal processing engineer. It detects anomalies, classifies signals, and predicts conditions in a package deployed in a SaaS application usable by a working engineer. Our customers say that we get to solutions very, very quickly and that we solve extremely challenging technical sensing problems in cases of high variation and large amounts of background noise. We're showing a live demo out in the lobby. If you'd like to see the technology in action, please come by. We are sensor agnostic. We work with a wide variety of sensors today: accelerometry, vibration, sound, electrical signals. At the end of the day, our product is about the mathematics of squiggly lines, and to us, everything is just a squiggly line. But what our customers value most is that we are deployable on cheap commodity hardware, working at the edge, enabling unit economics and use cases that fit with our customers' products. We are working already with some of the best names in the industry, and we'd love to work with you too. If you have the opportunity, please join us in January at the Consumer Electronics Show, where our good friends at Coito will be making an exciting product announcement featuring our technology. We work with a wide variety of use cases in automotive: predictive maintenance and condition monitoring for components, monitoring conditions that affect drivers and passengers, sensing conditions on the road and in the environment surrounding a car in support of autonomous operation, and anomaly detection and predictive maintenance in the factory. For you engineers in the audience, the way this works is, in place of traditional signal analytical techniques like the FFT, we have an AI-driven approach that identifies features and creates a custom transformation, maximizing the separation between classes and making the machine learning much more effective, compact, and computationally efficient. Thank you. Please come by and see us in the lobby. We'd love to show you what we can do. Thank you.
Our next presenter always has a smile on his face, which is a very good thing. And here to present still with a smile on his face is, wow, I just forgot. I'm so sorry. Dennis. Sorry.
It's tough to follow the guy that does stuff to do with farts. My name is Dennis Capavilla. I run a company called Connected Signals. I have the unique opportunity about talking about something everybody hates, which is traffic signals. A little bit about my background. Ex-Apple. I spent many years at Apple. I've been CEO of a couple of companies that have had favorable exits on NASDAQ, as well as subsequently being acquired by a larger entity. What we do, we're a software data company, and very simply, we detect and predict what traffic signals are doing and what traffic signals will be doing in the future. We do this all real time, and we deliver this to the car, whether the car is driven by a human or whether it's autonomous. The problem we're trying to solve, it's almost 2018 actually, and cars even to this day do not know what traffic signals are doing. Clearly this will change. And why anybody cares about this, fuel efficiency, carbon emission reasons, safety reasons, reducing driver stress. Just knowing you're stuck at a red light, how long it's going to be red is actually pretty interesting. Also, as you're approaching an intersection, you're about 100, 200 yards away, we will tell the driver or the autonomous car if you're going to make the light or miss the light at that current speed. Traffic congestion, again, another issue. If we can route people away from intersections where we know the light is red at that time and route them to intersections where the lights are green and or there's a green wave, that will help and impact things quite a bit. Last but not least, for autonomous cars, this is a must-have. An autonomous car needs to know whether the light's red, yellow, or green. The solution. Right now, we're the lead dog in this highly vertical space. We have about 15,000 intersections now, and we're just really tickled pink because we just landed in Manhattan, New York City, so now we're doing our thing in that really high visible city. We're currently deployed with BMW and their connected car feature, as well as with smartphones. We have multiple patents allowed and patents pending. We have a device, and it looks like this. Here's the device. And we put this device in a city. One of these devices in the cities is the vehicle-to-infrastructure device that we need to power everything that we do. Last but not least, on the monetization front, we're currently in final negotiations with 2 OEMs, major OEMs, as well as one Tier 1 vendor. We've raised $5 million. All of the rounds we've done have been oversubscribed. Investors include Toyota's kind of the AI. You heard Jim talk today. I always like to talk about Mark Cuban because he's our version of Hollywood, and he's invested pretty much every round. Sand Hill players, Silicon Valley players, and we've got some phenomenal international venture firms that have invested in us. Here's the comprehensive list of some of the folks that have invested. I'm currently in the process of identifying kind of an A round. I'll kick that off in January to identify players and take it from there. If you're interested in learning more about connected signals, I'll be out there and you'll figure out how to reach me. Thank you.
Okay, guys, we are down to our last 2 startups. Don't forget, after the next 2 startups present, vote, vote, vote. Look at that link on your badge. So our next startup is actually, somebody that we really value because as a program manager here at Plug and Play, one of the things that is most important to us is a fast email response rate. I'm sure you guys all understand that. So Guillermo here, he actually has the fastest response rate of the entire batch. So let's welcome him to the stage.
Hi. So Voltu is an EV powertrain technology company. We've been developing the most amazing powertrain for the last 5 years. What we have and what Voltu powertrain is different from others is high energy density, high performance, and very fast charging on board of the vehicle. So how do we do that? In the battery side, we have our novel and proprietary technology that allows us to cool the cells very efficiently and to put the cells very tightly inside the modules to be more efficiently and to have very high energy density inside of the battery, higher than anything we know in the market today for EVs. In our hardware, we have combined the technology from the inverter and the charger in only one hardware. That means that you don't have 2 pieces of hardware inside of the vehicle. You have only one hardware that can be used as an inverter for motoring the vehicle and as a charger. So what the other thing that it can do is to fast charge the vehicle with that technology on board, and you can charge 85% of the battery in only 30 minutes. And the other thing that it can do is to act as a grid inverter. So you can power your home with your EV if you have this technology in your vehicle. So we converted the powertrain in a smart powertrain, adding digital technology. We have full connectivity. We have more than 100 sensors. We have cameras. We have GPS, a lot of ever-growing applications. You are going to have remote updates in that vehicle if you have our powertrain inside. So this technology, of course, can be applied to anything, from battery storage to airplanes, anything. Which is the plan? First, we're going to deliver the Volto V1. This is the first of a series of high-performance electric vehicles with 150 horsepower. It's going to be the first electric motorcycle you can drive for 200 miles, stop anywhere, plug it, take a cup of coffee, and get in the road for another 200 miles in less than 30 minutes. Then we're going to start delivering storage systems with our Volto technology inside. We have already pre-sold $500,000 of them in Argentina. And the third phase is to start deploying this technology in other OEMs' vehicles that are willing to use our powertrain as a standalone place. Volto is the company that can deliver that powertrain for your company. So these last 3 months, we have accomplished several partnerships. We are now building a new facility to industrialize the products. We have sold $500,000 of batteries as battery storage system with the whole electronic inside. We are working on deals for scalable manufacturing with very big corporations that are going to help us to be successful and reliable in the market. And of course, we are working with partners for supplying battery cells, for example. We are working with other companies for investing and financing. And of course, we are in our seed round, so investment is welcome. Another kind of partnerships that you think it's going to be useful for us and for you are welcome too. We're in the right track. I hope you can join us. Thank you very much.
All right, guys, we're down to our last startup. Don't forget, after this, you guys got to vote for our People's Choice winner. Today, you guys all entered Plug and Play through the words update, park, shark. Here to explain what that actually means is Ashley from What 3 Words?
Hello, welcome, and thank you, Plug and Play, for this opportunity. I'm from What 3 Words, which is a revolutionary global addressing system. And the reason What 3 Words exists is because today's addresses simply aren't good enough. They weren't created with our needs in mind, where we need that Uber within 5 minutes, or a package delivered within 1 hour. And what about all the places that we want to travel that simply don't have an address, such as pop-up cafes? And language can be a real barrier for travelers. And this is a real gem that I discovered at my time in Plug and Play. Almost every town in California has a California street. And if I ask my phone to navigate to 240 California Street, it simply doesn't understand. And this is going to be a real problem when we think to the future of autonomous vehicles and drones. And we aren't the only ones who are complaining about this. There are lots of people who take to social media, and they're really upset about their missed Uber or their cold pizza. And there is already a traditional addressing system for the whole world, but that's GPS coordinates, and it's fine for machine to machine. But I don't know about you, I don't often invite friends over for dinner at 25 degrees, 9 minutes, 40 seconds. You get the point. It's not simple for human-to-human communication. So that's where What 3 Words comes in. we've split the entire world into 57 trillion 3-meter by 3-meter squares. And each of these squares is given a unique 3-word address using words from the dictionary. So you can see here, every entrance, every exit, every pickup and drop-off point or tailgating spot in the middle of a field has a 3-word address. And it's not only available in English, but it's also available in 14 other languages, with 13 launching next year. And we're also already being used in 170 countries, and we've been adopted by 8 countries as their national addressing system. You can use 3-word addresses in everything from e-commerce checkout pages to getting your pizza delivered. You can also find EV charging stations or your luxury hotel. And from next year, What 3 Words will be available in Zabbix navigation platform, which is used by over a million professional drivers in fleets around the world. You can see 3-word addresses on bus stops, as well as buildings. And we're really proud of our partnership that began with Startup Autobahn and Plug and Play earlier this year. So from next year, you'll be able to get into a Mercedes-Benz vehicle and navigate using just 3 words.
Navigate to What 3 Words? Cool View Spark.
So that's What 3 Words. And as she said, the entrance here is Update Park Shark. So thank you, and join us on this journey to make navigating the world a simpler and more efficient. Thank you.
All right, guys. So that concludes the mobility portion, but don't leave yet. Don't leave yet. I know you guys are all probably hungry. We do have lunch waiting outside. Make sure that to get your lunch, you use the lunch tickets that is inside your badges. But before we do that, we need a vote. So everybody, go to the back of your badges, look at the first link, and make sure you vote for your favorite startup. And while we do that, I have a couple questions for the crowd. Is everybody having fun? Yeah? Yeah? Okay. Are you guys all having a great energy going on here? Ready for lunch? Perfect. I do also want to say a couple thank you words to all the startups that presented today, all the corporate partners that are here. And if I can also bring my team to the stage, I'd like to bring Sopan, our director, Tessa, our senior operations. And of course, none of this would be possible without Laura, our program manager. Perfect. Okay. Here they are. And look. Oh. Okay, looks like the winner has come in. I feel like I am at an awards show. This is fun. Our winner is Ashley from What 3 Words. Let's welcome her to the stage. We have a nice little gift for her. Thank you, everybody. Please enjoy lunch. Startups. Startups, if you guys can come up here and take a photo with us, we'd love to have a huge photo with all the startups that presented today, along with our team. Thank you, everybody.